And I mean that she could do anything that most men did, and it wasn't that she was a man. And so, what are you going to say? She's not a woman because she had short hair.
That's stupid.
She had virtually no boobs. She was built like a man.
Yeah.
You know, or like we think of a man being built. And so it's like, in the last couple of years, as I've really tried to make sure I understand everything in the world, and I don't.
Right.
But it was the gender is a construct thing. It was literally when I was trying to explain to my children what a boy is and what a girl, because it was like, there was a question, well, what makes a boy?
Mm-hmm. Some things.
You know, and at the end of the day, it really is that in their heart, in their head, in their soul, whatever, they feel like a boy.
Feels
period.
Like mm-hmm.
Whether that's like Gottmik, you know, who competed on Drag Race, trans boy.
Yep.
So assigned female at birth, now
transition.
Man,
drag queen. Who cares?
And drag queen. And it's like people are like, wait, what? So he went from being assigned female to being a boy and then dresses like a girl. It's like, yes, all of those things are true.
Right.
Where's your problem?
Exactly.
And it's like, well, but it's not normal. It's not normal for you.
Right, girl, calm down.
And in drag, you call her she because she is the character of Gottmik. Out of drag, he.
Right.
But he has just turned drag kind of on its head because he, as a rule, doesn't wear any kind of padding. Mm-hmm. And his face is usually painted like white with tones of like, so all black and white.
Oh, okay.
As a rule.
Yeah.
Most often when I see him in drag, he's painted like a black and white picture. And it's very cool. It's very conceptual and very artistic. But he's still a drag queen.
Yes.
And he's gay. Oh my God, wait. He transitioned and is gay and my God, this is something so confusing. And I need to understand it because it's my business because I don't care.
I really like the idea of like drag queen is a specific type of drag, but more and more, because I watch also Dragula, which is like the hardcore punk rock version of drag, right? But I like the term drag artist over drag queen anymore because drag artist is more accurate. Because on Dragula, there are obviously drag queens who, their whole character on stage is female, feminine, a woman.
Yes.
But there are people who are not, who are like clowns or scary monsters or men.
The one who won this year.
Yes.
And what is...
Dahlia.
Mm-hmm.
Does like clown, scary makeup.
But, I mean, when I look at him, I see man.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And he is absolutely 100% a drag artist. He does 100. Full makeup.
Yep.
And it's all about the transformation.
Right. And it's performance art, y'all. That's what this is, right?
But if you look at people throughout, entertainment, look at Dolly Parton.
Girl, drag queen.
You know, when she gets in the shower, she doesn't look anything like she looks on stage.
No.
She doesn't have big hair. She doesn't have the eyelashes. The
makeup.
That's all put on.
Her boobs.
Although I do love that she sleeps, if she's in a hotel, if she's on the road, she sleeps in her full geesh.
Yes, ma'am.
Because... and to quote her, what if the hotel catches on fire?
Listen, girl,
I'm going to have to go out in the middle of the night and stand in the street. She goes, and if my fans see me look like that, they'll be like, who is that?
Okay.
So she says, I sleep in full makeup.
This is comical to me because when I went to college in San Francisco, one of my very good Judies was Jonathan Van Jameson, who you know.
So beautiful.
Who is one of the most beautiful humans in the universe. Funny,
First of all, why is he so beautiful?
So effing beautiful. John is one of my favorite people. Anyway, we lived in the same dorm building in downtown San Francisco. And so one night, the fire alarm goes off for whatever reason. No, there was no fire, but we all had to evacuate. So we're outside. And again, John, much like myself, full face of makeup when we leave.
Right.
So I'm down there with like a hoodie and like sunglasses at night. And Jonathan has a complete scarf wrapped around his entire face. So all you can see is his eyes. So we look like mummy people, just like the craziest of crazy. But to this day, it's one of my favorite memories because...
she could not let her fans see her without her face on.
And I used to make a joke. I used to be like, oh, girl, if I want to hang out with John, I have to call John today to make plans for tomorrow because she has to start getting ready tonight, honey. Because it took her hours. Girls, hours to get ready.
Well worth the trip, though.
I mean,
like
because...
beautiful.
And let me tell you, everyone, gay men, straight men, every type of person loved John. I remember walking into... like the cafeteria, and John would just be sitting on some straight man's lap, and I'm like, what is happening here? But everyone, John was like a magnetic person who's just like an enigma.
Absolutely.
Just like a little fairy creature.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, really, because I have not met.
Personally, no.
But I've seen many pictures and heard many stories and whatever. And every time I look at his pictures, I'm just like,
who are you?
Are you really human?
Yeah, right?
Are you from this planet?
No.
Oh my god. But, back to my point is that it isn't just one group of people who can do anything. Yeah. And it goes back to the whole thing of, drag and sports and all of it. It doesn't matter. Mm-mm. It doesn't matter who. It's like if you need to know, then you need to know. And on that, we're going to take a little break. So one of the things we were going to talk about today, and here we are, 36 minutes in, and we started.
Look, we talked about very important situations.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yes, we did. We're going to talk about Easter because it's right around the corner, and the importance of that high holy day.
Girl.
Well, it's funny to me, and I mean it's been funny for a long time. I grew up going to church 472 times a week. Mm-hmm. And so I know all about it. Went to church, literally, okay, not even to exaggerate. I went to church 3 times a week because we went to morning service, evening service, Wednesday Bible study, and then went to Christian summer camp, vacation Bible school, and I also sang with the junior, whatever they were called, our little singing group, whatever. Well, although with that, I did get to travel to Disneyland with them, so I got something good out of it.
On a school bus, girl, in 1902.
Wow.
So,
right, when school buses were still pulled by horses. Anyhow, but we, I was in church a lot. Mm-hmm. And so the tale of Easter has always been one that I'm like, what? I mean, the whole thing doesn't make any kind of sense. But then as I got older, I learned that like all other Christian holidays, they're all stolen directly from pagans.
Oh, yeah.
All of them. And it's not, they didn't even try very hard to make it seem like it wasn't, because Easter specifically, I mean, it is taken from the pagan holiday of Ostara, which is named after a goddess.
Yep. It's about spring equinox, the rebirth, the renewal, coming of the sun. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. It was a pagan holiday. By the way, for those of you who are confused about paganism, it has nothing to do with what you think it does.
No.
Because it really is just about celebrating the earth, nature, the world around us, and trying to protect that.
So
it has nothing to do with Satan or whatever crazy, kooky things you think it does.
So, yes, correct. So paganism today is kind of just an umbrella term, much like Christianity. So paganism involves like anything that sometimes people consider different types, like Buddhism, or they consider sometimes Hinduism as paganism. But there's like witchcraft. There's Druidism. There's, all the occultism, Aleister Crowley, all of that. So it's an umbrella term, right? But paganism, in its like true nature, is just, celebrating, protecting, worshiping the earth, the coming of the energy, the coming of seasons. And so it is just an ebb and flow. It's not, and you can have goddesses and gods, you can have a pantheon, you can have a singular one, you can have none. So there is diversity, but it's not about worshiping Satan. And even like Satanists don't worship Satan. Satan is a very Christian belief. It's a very like Judaic Christian belief system, but not even in like Jewish stories. It's all Christianity where there's just an adversary.
Well, yeah.
But
I didn't know until just a handful of years ago that in Jewish faith they don't believe in heaven or hell. I did not know that.
Right.
And so I asked my friend who is Jewish. I said, "So if there's no heaven or hell in your religion, what is the golden carrot? What is, because the whole theme of Christianity is you're bad, you go to this awful place, you're good, you go to this amazing place."
Yep.
So, and the idea is to keep people on the right track. It's like, if this bad thing's going to happen, you better clear it up. Or, oh, look at you, you're so wonderful. You're going to go to this place that actually it sounds dreadful to me. But
again, yes.
Yes. I mean, because if you go by the biblical, but I'm not going to get into all that.
No,
but still, I said, so what is the golden carrot? What is supposed to make people behave? And she goes, that they're supposed to just be good people to be good people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well, I hate it.
So I'm sorry.
Sounds horrible.
You're
I don't
supposed
win.
to, as a human being,
I don't like that.
Just be a good person?
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't see that happening. Well, I just don't see that happening. Because look at all the people out here who are shitty people who believe in the heaven and hell construct.
But are horrible people.
And they're so horrible people.
But are also telling you trans people shouldn't
exist. I can go to confession on Saturday and say, okay, I sinned this week. I did all these horrible things. They go say their Hail Marys or whatever they do. And then on Sunday they're fine and they can start all over again with a week of being trash human beings.
Authentic.
And so the fact that people get all like, especially, I mean, it's more about Christmas when people are like, you other people have stolen our holiday.
No,
it's like, no, let's get it together. You stole from the pagans to make Christianity palatable to pagans, so they'd go, okay, I guess we can do this thing.
Right.
It's like that's the whole reason they did it. They made each part that they could more like paganism, so they would have an easier time converting people.
Well, and that's the thing too, is Puritans, when they first came to this country and raped and pillaged it,
because that's Christian,
right? Puritans did not like it. Puritans were not about Christmas. The real war on Christmas was Puritans, girl. They hated the idea of all of it. They thought it was like revelry and rash and stupid. They weren't about it because it was like it wasn't focused on Jesus at that point, right? It was like a Christmas tree and Saint Nick and all of that shit. But they didn't like it. Like, they were not about it. So when people talk about the war on Christmas, like Starbucks cups just being red or whatever, how stupid are you? And the real war is on paganism. You just try to take it and it's never going to die. And that's the thing. People just think that if you are a missionary, that's my issue. One of my issues with missionaries. You're a missionary, you speak the word of Christ to fucking everyone, everyone's just going to love it. That's not the case. No. And as long as Christianity has been around, there have been religions and faiths and belief systems much older. And this again brings me back to trans people. You think that your hate and your legislation and your ignorance towards trans people is going to stop trans people from existing.
No.
And again, trans people have been around since before the idea of whiteness, and since before the idea of race, since before Christianity. And they're never going anywhere. And just a reminder, you're never going to make somebody the opposite of what you want them. You're just going to make them miserable. So you're never going to make a trans person cisgender. You're going to make them miserable and kill themselves, right? That's the only thing you're going to do, or you're going to make them feel better. It's like the same ideology with the changing of pagan holidays to Christian holidays. You just took something away. You know what I mean? And tried to make it
it's
different.
So unlike white people to take things that don't belong to them. I
hate that.
Well,
it's accurate though.
Yeah. But it's like all of those things, it's always, when they're always trying to legislate, it's just the same to me as when they're like, well, we're going to make abortions illegal. Guess what? They're still going to happen.
Yeah.
They'll be harder to get, and there will be people who die because they get.
Yes.
But it's the same thing with the whole trying to regulate how trans people live their life. They're still going to happen.
Yeah.
But more people will die because there will be, people taking their own lives because you have made their life miserable.
Right. And that's the thing I love.
And is that what you're shooting for?
Right.
Do you really want to make people kill themselves because you had to have some say in how they live their life?
Right.
Fucked up.
I know
that has nothing to do with Easter, and that's where I started this
Easter.
whole thing.
Oh, you know
Easter,
what?
Right?
Let's go back to that. Easter. So Easter's cool, I guess. Easter is my least favorite holiday, specifically nowadays, because I'm not about it. I don't understand the bunnies and the eggs with Jesus. It doesn't make any sense because it's not about fertilization.
Oh, well, let me tell you how the bunnies and the eggs have anything to do with Jesus. Because when he was on the cross, there was a little rabbit warren right under the base of the cross. And the rabbits laid the eggs. Wait, that's not right.
Witchcraft. That's witchcraft.
But they laid chocolate eggs specifically.
Girl, if we're going to talk about witchcraft, Jesus was a witch.
How dare you?
Okay, but I have like a story or two about religious trauma.
Okay.
Since, it's Easter, good time. Let's talk about religious trauma.
It does seem like a good time to talk about it.
I did not go to church very often as a kid. The only reason I ever went to church was because I was like being babysat by a family who went to church, and I went with